Sweet lady, Melanie, yeah. You know what I love?
What?
I sing to you every time we meet, and every time you're surprised by it. And that's cool for me.
I was trying to think of what song you were singing so I could sing along with you.
Sweet Lady by Tyrese.
I was going to say, Marmalade.
Oh, yeah, see? That's... I encourage, if something comes to your head, if it's not right, say it.
Okay, I will.
Because I'll roll with you.
Okay. I believe it.
Dude, we did our live show.
We did. It was fun.
We did a live show.
I know. And people came.
Sold out.
Full. It was fun.
Dude, I'm so proud of us because the three of us, me, you, and Kaylee, were just one night like, what if we did a live show and then put it together? We had like a month, but really it was like the final 2 weeks we were like, okay, we really need to put this together. I know.
Literally, our first post was like, surprise guest, because we don't know either.
And it was a perfect guest. Danae Hays.
Yes.
She just moved to Nashville not too long ago and is just a fucking cool ass person, man.
I couldn't ask for it. Like my group asked how it went in a group text, and I just said it couldn't have gone better.
Truly.
Yeah. It was very she talked more than other guests, and which is a good thing. Like I was just like so into what she was saying. Like I wasn't, sometimes you want to make sure you're keeping the conversation going, and that just didn't even come up. I was just so into it. Just all felt so, it always feels natural, but it was just really fun to hear her story and everything she shared. She was a good mix of being funny and then getting really personal and sharing, being vulnerable, which I always appreciate.
What was your favorite part of the night?
I really liked when she shared, when I asked that question around like what was a big part of her moving through some of the things she was talking about, and when she started talking about her wife.
So sweet.
Yeah.
So sweet. I really like her wife too. Mandy, she's funny and personable. And that, like, the minute I met her, I was like, like, because sometimes funny people as partners will just be not.
Yeah.
They're just not. And that's fine, because funny people take up, entertainers, they take up a lot of space. But Mandy she just takes up her own space, and it's beautiful,
Yeah, that's a good way to put that.
Yeah. I had so much fun, dude. I had such a peace over me.
What was your favorite part?
I think afterwards, meeting the people that I did and then being like, can I go to therapy here? And so like into 2024, I was like, my word for the year is magic. Everything that happens, I'm going to try to find the magic in it. And that's a lot of what I was hearing from the people, where they were like, this is just magic, what you guys got going. There's magic here. And I was like, and it was cool meeting people from Danae's. So I'm going on tour with Danae.
Yeah.
People from her agency came and was like, you're so funny and we love this. And it was just getting like validation was really cool.
I'm glad they're getting to see this side of you, because you're good. I've told you this before. It's like a very natural thing, whether you're on stage or here. But there's definitely these distinct parts of you that show up here in these conversations versus on stage. So I'm glad they got to experience that part of you too.
Me too. And you did so great. I know you were like,
didn't have my headphones.
You did so great. And at the end with the questions, you turned to people and you were like, oh, la, la, la. Like you just natural.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
And
Go ahead.
I was talking to my therapist about it. She was asking about it. And, she was just like, she just brought up like where she was like, for you, that's a natural space for you performing in front of people. It's like, but your normal space is a one-on-one private.
Yes.
So I'm just so, when my therapist asked me what my favorite part was, I almost said how proud I was of you, but I was like, let me think about something
for you
that has to do with me. But good, that really was one of my favorite parts.
Thank you.
You just killed it, man. You killed it. Which is going to be helpful when we're on the road with it.
Yeah. I'm receiving that. I'll say another favorite moment, because I kind of named my best favorite part of like the conversation we had, but it was when it's the picture I posted on my Instagram whenever like JB started singing. And I kind of was just standing back, and I could just see how you get into his music and you just love it. But to just see the whole room and to just see him and his, like, I just kind of, always just try to take in the moment of something when I'm doing like the experience of it. And I just felt really proud of like all the things what we were doing and pulling together. And I know I kept saying, I cannot believe this many people want to come listen to us, and because we record here in this room, you know, and it was neat to interact and see people. And I met some therapists there that we'd known each other on Instagram, but didn't really know in real life. And so it was neat to just the connection in so many ways that happened. I loved it.
And we filmed it, and now you get to listen to it and watch it. It's on YouTube if you want to actually see it. I think it's worth it to go watch it. And just so you know, you're aware, JB Summers, one of our former guests, he opens up the show. So when this episode starts, you're going to be hearing some guitar.
You get to listen to 2 of his songs.
Oh, and they're so good. I feel it in my
Amber
gut
starts
and
to cry every time he sings.
He's so good. He's so good. So enjoy this episode. Leave a comment, leave a review. Like, it would just make us feel all giddy inside.
Yes, please. And look for us on the road. We're manifesting that.
Yes.
You guys are in the splash zone right here. So good luck, y'all too. One, thank you guys so much for having me. It means the world to be a part of your 1-year anniversary and to have been on the show previously. If you haven't listened, I'm assuming all of you guys have listened to the podcast, every episode, thank God. Go back and listen to it again, it's great. Especially my episode. But I'm just really grateful to be here and going to start us off with some songs. And then we'll get into the podcast. But the first one I'm going to sing is my first single that I released when I moved to Nashville called Soon. Staring at the pavement, I know I'm supposed to. When my hands are shaking, I lose hold of everything. Sick of intermission on this reality. So why did these decisions always get the best of me? Too high was one knee, too fast to think. But I have to choose. What I have to choose. I don't wanna move on, but I need to. I don't wanna leave so soon. I would rather hold on than forget you. I don't wanna leave so soon without you. Lately I've been sleeping, drowning in my dreams. If only I could find a concrete pad that doesn't sink. Too high is one knee, too fast to think. But I have to choose. What I have to choose. Oh, I don't wanna move on, but I need to. I don't wanna leave so soon. I would rather hold on than forget you. I don't wanna leave so soon without you. 'Cause I hate to leave, but it hurts to stay. It's never easy to turn the page. I hate to leave, but it hurts to stay. It's never easy to turn the page. Oh, I don't wanna move on, but I need to. I don't wanna leave so soon. song was really just about me moving from where I was living before to Nashville. It was kind of in this place of comfort. I used to live in Destin, Florida. I used to work for a church. It was an interesting experience moving here because I was really closeted, living in Florida, working for the church, completely closeted. Didn't come out until I moved to Nashville. That song, as I was actually listening to it the other day, I feel like subconsciously part of me was writing it. The Two Halves One Me portion of it was really just writing that for the closeted version of myself, not really knowing what was around the corner, how I was going to be authentically myself and come to a place of accepting all of me. So anyways, that's soon. So thank you guys for listening to that one. And the next song that I'm going to sing is called Different People. It's probably one of my favorite songs. Anybody else broken up with anybody in here before? Or been broken up with? No one? Just two people? Wow, you guys are perfect. Okay. It's just another one of those breakup songs. So hope you, oh my gosh, hey, that's okay. Sorry, my bad. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy it. Small talk and you guys so much. There's a lot more to the night. Very excited to be here. I'm going to hand it over to Amber.
Yes, give it up for
Give it up for
JB.
Amber.
Yes,
Yeah.
God. Hi. How are you feeling right now?
A little out of body a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not used to. I'm a one-on-one. I'm a therapist. I'm a one-on-one gal. So it's nice to have y'all here. The energy feels good.
Right? I feel,
Yes.
I feel like everybody's open. We didn't bring our headphones, and Melanie was like, "We're not bringing headphones." She's like, "Those are my sunglasses." So I'm just
Yeah, I'm
excited.
here.
This
It's
is
fun.
freaking cool.
Yes, it is. That's what I was saying earlier. I was like, can you believe these people have paid to come hear us talk? That's so bizarre to me.
Hell yeah.
But
As a
fun.
comedian, I feel that a lot, you know? And
As a therapist, I feel like that a
I'm
lot.
like, bro, I just said like 30 minutes of vagina jokes, and you coming back? Like, that's awesome.
As a therapist, I'm like, I made you cry and you want to come back?
Yeah. I am so excited to be here. I'm so excited to be here with
Yes.
you. I love you so much.
love you too.
And I'm going to say that more throughout the night.
Good.
And I'm also so freaking stoked for our guest.
Yes.
I want to, I'm just going to bring her up here because I want to say things
Go for it.
to her wonderful face. Can you guys welcome Danae Hays, please, the wonderful comedian?
Come on.
My lady.
I don't care if I take my shoes off. I normally don't have shoes on. I go
I would
Indian
love to
style.
take my shoes off.
So fun. Wow.
How do you feel?
I feel great. JB, that turned me on a little bit, man. I'm like, and I'm as gay as a football bat, and that turned me on a little bit. Yeah.
Gay as a what?
Gay as a football bat.
What is a football bat?
Girl, I'm about to take you to Alabama real quick. Well, okay, so what is a football bat? I reckon that just means like it's just so odd and quirky, you know?
okay.
So, and, you know,
That makes sense.
my dad thought being gay was odd and quirky. Now it's making sense.
Your dad said gay as a football bat?
Yeah, that was something he always used, yeah.
I love
I need
that.
to call him after this and talk to him about that.
So that's something that's cool is y'all are both from Alabama.
Yes.
Are you close, like from the same spot?
She's near Coleman, which is about 45 minutes north
Yeah.
of Birmingham. And I'm,
So, yeah, with
yeah.
an hour.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
right outside of Birmingham.
Okay, cool. I want to thank you for being here.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, no need. I'm so excited.
I just think you're so wonderful. The first time we met, I just knew that you were open to like putting it all out there because we met at a coffee shop. And I feel like within the first like 25 minutes, you're like, so what's up? And I'm like, my mom's sick. I just felt like I could say that in front of you, and you were just so warm and like, oh, I'm not crying already.
Oh.
We haven't even gotten
Go for
into
it.
it.
Well, I just think when you connect with somebody just so natural. I mean, as soon as I walked in there, my back was facing the door, and you walked right in, and you literally just like touched me right on my shoulder, and you're like, Danae? And I don't know, I just felt really comfortable with you from the jump. And I think when you can connect with somebody like that instantaneously, it's just like a portal, you know, you just kind of open up, you know? And yeah, that's how I felt with you. And now we're going on tour together. It's going to be fun.
Did I tell you that?
No.
We're going on tour together.
Well, I heard something earlier. Y'all were talking, and I was like, y'all were talking about a guitar player or something. And I was like, what are they talking about?
Oh, is everybody okay?
Oh my God. I thought medically something had happened. I was like, no one here is equipped.
Someone passed out.
Did I do a doctor character quick?
I don't even know CPR.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We should have.
Why would you ask me? I don't know anything.
We're close to Vanderbilt.
But no, she's going to be opening for me.
Yes.
On all 8 dates so far.
And they're all sold out, or
6 of the 8. We added 2 new shows, but yeah, I literally saw Amber's videos. Somebody sent them over to me. It was JB's Boo sent it to my agent. My agent sent it to me, and I was like, "We're done."
Yes.
Like this girl, like I just vibed with you. I showed my wife. This is my wife, Mandy. I showed my wife like 3 videos, to, like get the stamp of approval, and she was like, "That's the one."
oh, thanks, Mandy. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have listened to. I know you were on. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a radio show where you talked a little bit about your story.
Yeah.
But can you talk about how what you were doing before you became a comedian. Were you a realtor?
Can y'all imagine me showing houses?
Now this
one is big. This is the big house.
That's it.
If you want me to show you a smaller house, I'll show you a smaller one. But real quick, sidebar to being a realtor. This is when I said, can we curse on this podcast?
1,000%.
Great.
Fuck yes.
I was like, thank you. I was like, I'm fucking done. All right, so.
With being a realtor?
Yeah.
So you were actually a realtor.
I was actually a realtor.
Okay.
You did make it seem like absolutely not.
No, I was. It just feels like, man, anybody can be a realtor, you know? I mean, that's when you know, like, you really got to vet these people. But anyway, so I get my little Hyundai Veloster.
Yes.
It's got 3 doors on it. For y'all that don't know, it's a 3-door car. And
Where's the third door?
One in the back.
Yeah, it's on the back.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a really cool car. Just zipping out in the middle of nowhere, Alabama. Like, I already live 30 minutes from a Dollar General. And this house was like an hour and a half from the Dollar General. So here I go, just zipping around, and I'm meeting this girl that I graduated from high school with, and she's with her husband, whom I've never met before, and their 2 kids. And we get out here to this like log cabin out in the middle of the woods. The electricity's turned off, the water's turned off, and I'm scared to be in this house with these people. like, I think my cell phone service was out, and like I'm way out in the middle of nowhere. Well, we're standing on the back porch of this house, and I've got my brochures because I'm trying to look very smart, and and I'm holding it. And I'm holding my brochures. I don't know what any of the stuff on the paper actually means, but I'm holding it, and he's like, "How old is this roof?" And I was like, "Well, hang on a second. Let me tell you." So as I'm trying to find out where the roof age is listed on all this paper, I hear a stream of water, and I'm like, "Well, that's weird. I've already tested the sink, and I know the water's off." I'm like, "What the hell is that?" So I go and I look over, and he is just pissing off the side of the porch. In front of the kids, the wife,
You.
and I'm like, "Me?"
That's buying the home. Like
They didn't fucking buy the house. And I was so mad. I was like, "Sir,
You peed on this property.
you just marked your territory like a goddamn dog. You're buying this $80,000 house right now."
He asked you a question and then went to pee.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So that was when I was like, I'm
That's-
pretty redneck, but this is
No,
next
that's
level.
normal for
Yeah.
Alabama.
Yeah.
You just pee in the front yard.
Yep.
Like,
I mean, but
as
after
kids,
asking
especially
a
kids.
stranger something,
Yeah, right next to me, man. He was having a fun time. Yeah. So,
and then he's like, "No thanks."
yeah, he's like, "Actually," and then, no, I think what happened, I was like, "Oh, it was put on in '95. He was like, "Too fucking old." Nope, we're done here. So, anyways, yes, I was a realtor, to answer your question.
Yeah.
My mom was a realtor, still is a realtor. My dad's in real estate.
Wow.
So real estate was just kind of like, it just seemed like the easy ticket. I went to college and played softball. Sports was really just like the thing that I just like sunk my teeth into. It was like my identity for so long. And when I graduated, while I was in college my senior year, I signed up for the real estate classes and started taking those simultaneously with my sports broadcasting major.
Wow.
I originally thought I wanted to be on ESPN. I did, this is so sidebar, but I did the SEC network where you call softball games. So I was like a play-by-play analyst for college softball for 2 years. And I didn't like it, like at all. And that's what I thought I wanted to do for the longest time going into college. So anyways, I got my real estate license and,
Why didn't you like the calling?
I think I wanted to be too loosey-goosey on air. Like I wanted to be the entertainer.
Yes.
I didn't want to be like Sydney Littlejohn with a home run. You know?
Oh, that's a good voice, though.
Maybe. I guess it depends on what network you're on. But yeah,
you want some water?
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thank you. But I don't need it like right now. Like I'm not.
I understand that was rude.
If you're listening to this, like I didn't give like hand signals that I need water or anything.
It was very demanding. It was like,
yeah, I was like. So, anyways, I did real estate for 2 years. Decided I was like, yeah, that's not for me. And then Mandy and I, my beautiful wife now, makes it seem like I've had several wives, but my beautiful wife and only wife that I've ever had.
well, now it really seems like that.
It does, yes. Please don't look into my history. No. We found each other over on Instagram, started dating, and we can get into that, but started dating and then tried to come out of the closet. I'm sure we'll get into that as well. And then we hightailed it to Southern California after a year of living in Alabama together. So went from Southern California. We lived there for 2 years. Then we moved to Austin, Texas for almost 2 years, about 18 months. And then from Austin, Texas to Nashville. We've been here for 2 years. So we're going to probably move soon.
I was like, there's a pattern.
Moving next month.
So you said you like tried to come out around when you met Mandy, but you had like come out before that, right?
Yeah. I was 8 years old and I had seen the movie Grease, and probably wondering where this is coming into play with my.
No, I feel like I'm feeling you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sandy.
Sandy? Yes.
Wait, Sweet Sandy, or like, tell me about it.
Which one do you think? That cigarette did a number on me. What I wouldn't be to be that fucking cigarette right now. Actually, that sounds terrible because I was 8, so I take that back. But no, I saw that episode. Not episode. I saw that movie. And,
You had an episode.
I did have an episode. And I was like, man, I want to be John Travolta. So I started slicking my hair back.
Oh, you were serious?
Oh, you thought this was a joke? Started slicking my hair back, cutting the sleeves off of my cotton t-shirts, and my parents had just gotten me a dirt bike that year. Oh, yes. So I was ripping it.
Yeah.
Dude. And I'd leave that. I was ripping it. And I would leave that dirt bike on, and I'd go ring the doorbell to my next door neighbor, Cassidy, who I had a crush on. And I'd leave that thing idling so she could hear it. Yeah. She'd open that door up. She looked like Topanga from Boy Meets World. And I'd be like, you want to go for a ride? I don't think I can fit on that. And I was like, you can. And the closer you get to that gas tank, the better it's going to feel. I did say that. And so we got on that dirt bike together, and I would just ride Cassidy all over. And
Oh, man.
Anyway, so I told my parents, I crawled in bed with my mom one day. She was taking a nap. Real estate was really exhausting that day. And I crawled in bed with her, and I started crying. And my mom was like, "What's wrong, honey?" And I was like, "Well, I'm just starting to notice that the boys in school are only talking about how they like the girls, and the girls in school are only talking about how they like the boys. And I don't know. I feel really weird." And she's like, why do you feel weird? And I was like, well, I really like Cassidy. Like, I really like her. And my mom was like, well, honey, that's so normal. Like, that's so normal. You just like her as a friend. And so that was like the first seed where I was like, okay,
Like, that's not okay.
yeah, she didn't understand that. Well, she understood it, but she didn't want to acknowledge it. So then probably 6 months later, I crawled, well, she probably wasn't taking a nap again, but she was a bad agent. No. She only sold houses after 11 p.m. I went to her again, and my dad. I have a very open line of communication with my dad. I always have. I still do. And I had told them again, hey, like, I'm having these feelings. And I think at that point they realized like this is something like she's struggling with really bad. They just kind of brushed it off to the side and ignored it some more. And around this time I started to develop really bad obsessive compulsive disorder. I now know that a lot of that is because I was so out of control up here because I was having these thoughts. And by this time I was probably 10. It had been going on for several years. And so this obsessive compulsive diagnosis happened that year because I was like, I literally could not function. Like I was telling my parents 20 to 30 times every night, I love you. And then I'd go to bed. And then I'd get out of bed and I'd go to the bottom of the stairs and I'd like wake them up. I'd love you.
Wow.
I thought they were going to die in their sleep. And I was just like obsessed over it. Or I would count how many steps up
Your
to my
brain
bedroom.
needed something to focus on.
Something to focus on,
Where
and
the energy
something
went.
where I couldn't.
Sit with the
Yes.
emotional hard stuff.
Yes, exactly. So anyways, so my parents, they took me to a psychologist. And I remember when I went to the psychologist, they just told me like, this man's going to help you. He's a doctor. He's going to help you. It was really about OCD. It wasn't about my sexuality. So I get there and I always remember this man because it was like the first time I had felt okay, but I was sitting there on the couch with him and my parents had left the room and he was like, well, what do you want to talk about today? And I was like, I just, I don't know. I feel miserable. Like I'm just miserable. I have to touch the doorknob 20 times before I open it. Why do you think you do that? And I was like, I don't know. I worry a lot. What do you worry about? I worry about why do I like girls, not boys? And he goes, well, why do you worry about that? And I was like, because it's wrong. And he said, I remember he's just sitting there and he had like this super fuzzy hair. And I even as a kid, I was a little judgmental. It's like, oh, we need to get help on move. But I said, I looked at him and I go, because it's wrong. And he goes, there's nothing wrong with who you love or who you like.
Damn.
And I was like, it was almost like I felt so re-energized. And I remember we went and we we got in the car and we were headed to Arby's. That's what you do when you're in town for an hour. You should go to Arby's. And we were headed to Arby's and my dad was driving. My mom was in the passenger seat. I was in the back seat and I was just so chipper. And my mom was like, she turned around and like propped her arm up on the seat and she was like, how'd it go? And I just blurted out. He said, it doesn't matter who you like, boys or girls. And my mom punched my dad in the shoulder like a, and she goes, I thought you booked a Christian therapist. So that was the first time. Now looking back, I realized there was so much religious trauma because that man obviously didn't know Jesus. Otherwise he wouldn't have said that. My dad looked at my mom and he said he was a Christian therapist. So then I'm like, I'm just so confused by this story.
And how old are you?
I believe at that time I was either at the end of being right at the end of almost being 11 or I had just turned 11. So then the next week they go and book me this other therapist, and this guy they had done their due diligence on. He specialized in helping people rid themselves of homosexuality. I literally get
Conversion therapy.
Yes. I literally get a physical reaction when I talk about it. My body starts to just kind of shake because it's just so tough. And I go to this therapist and I'm sitting there and he's asking me the same questions. What do you worry about? And I tell him, let's just cut to the chase. I worry that I like girls. And I remember he looks at me and he just says the one thing that I've probably said 1,000 times in my head since then is he goes, Danae, it's not a sin to think about robbing the bank. It's just a sin to rob the bank.
Oh my God.
And I played that in my head 1,000 times because I was just like, okay, well, these thoughts are okay because they're not bad as long as I don't act on them. And so, yeah, it was a form of conversion therapy. And he taught me things during those lessons. And then he put me on Zoloft at 11, which is mind-boggling when you think about it. Because, that's such a controlled substance, and I really do think it.
Well, your brain's not done developing yet.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
Why the Zoloft?
you're only like halfway there.
Yeah.
At that point.
Right. The reasoning was like my obsessive thoughts were now becoming so crippling that like it was affecting just me being a child.
Yeah.
I started to have this this phrase that I would say, and it was disregard that. So I would say my truth, but then I would say disregard that. And that was my way of like getting it out. And then as long as I followed it with a disregard that. So I'd be like, Dad, I think Jordan on the softball team's really pretty. Disregard that.
Oh my God.
And it was like driving my parents up the wall, and it was driving me up the wall because I was like, I cannot go through a day where I'm not saying the terms disregard that like 50 to 60 times.
Damn.
But
So
that
it's
became
crippling.
like a tool for you to be able to say your truth.
Right. Yeah. Maybe it was just, I think also from an empathetic standpoint, it's taken me a long time to get here. I'm 30 now, so it's taken me a minute to get here, but I think, and I'm not making excuses for my parents, so please don't take it in this vein, but growing up where I grew up, I didn't know a single gay person in my school. The one person that was gay was my babysitter. So I'm like, man, y'all really fucked me up. Y'all gave me a gay babysitter, a dirt bike, and made me play softball and wondered why I was a fucking dyke? What? Like,
Wait, did they know that your babysitter was gay?
yes!
Get the fuck out of here.
Think about robbing the bank, but don't rob it. I'm like, there's so many goddamn banks around here. Oh, God, you know? So anyway, no, she was gay. She actually...
That blows my mind
Yeah.
that they hired a out gay babysitter.
who also played softball. I'm sure she had a dirt bike too. They probably gave her a questionnaire before she showed up to the job. Are you in the closet? Check. Great. We want her around our child. You have a 2-stroke. Well, perfect. Bring it on. So, anyways, but yeah, so she was my babysitter, and I
Wait,
was
sorry. She was out.
She was a full-blown lesbian, like had girlfriends and would talk to my parents about her girlfriends and how she had so much shame about being gay. She just didn't know how to stop living that quote unquote lifestyle. And I would be in the back seat, and because we would go on these vacations with us and 2 other families, and the dads were so goofy. They were hilarious. And she was very masculine, and she would always talk to him on these car rides. And, you know, we'd be driving like a Suburban with like half the crew here, the women and the other crew. And I always wanted to be with the guys. So she would start talking about how like she had so much shame about it. Like she didn't want to be living that lifestyle. And I would be listening to some of these men tell her how it's sinful and how if she wants to get rid of it, like get rid of that lifestyle, she just needs to find the right guy. So I'm like, I don't think they realized that I was so in tune with all of these conversations. You'll get to meet her though. She's coming to the Birmingham show. She just posted about it on Facebook. I saw that. But
Your babysitter?
yeah, my cute lesbian babysitter. Yeah, she was cute too. I don't know if she's still cute. I'm sure she is, but
Oh my goodness.
yeah. Yeah, so anyways, I'll introduce you, but we don't have to tell her we had this conversation.
Absolutely. No one say anything.
Actually, just go up right up, just go through and be like, hey, my name's Amber.
Gay babysitter.
Do you have a dirt bike?
Do you have a dirt bike? That was her joke, but you didn't. Okay. I want to make sure.
You're so sweet.
Y'all comedians are funny
Thank you.
about that stuff. I mean, you're funny in general, but y'all
She's like, no, when you try, no.
no, y'all are very funny. We've been laughing the whole time, and I wanted to call you out on it, but I'm like, she's just funny though, just the way you.
She's so sweet.
Yeah,
I love her.
I do too.
I wish you were my therapist when I was 10.
No, me too.
Aw.
I mean
That's
that.
me too.
I can tell you really deeply care
Thank
on a
you.
deep level. And there just shouldn't be. That's one thing because I'm still in therapy. And it's hard. You have to like vet these therapists to make sure that like they're not going to push some rhetoric down your throat. So the first thing I say, because when I had one in California, And then I have one now. And the first thing I had to ask him was just straight up, like, is my sexuality going to conflict with your like religious values or, and so, yeah, it's a tough look.
I've had people ask me that, like, before we get started. And it's like, I hope there's one day soon that that question doesn't have to be asked.
Right.
Because it's your job as a therapist that even if it does conflict in some way, it shouldn't be a part of what you're doing in the therapy room.
Totally.
Yeah. But
Thank you for that.
yeah.
How does it? Well, you have your therapist. How long have you been with your therapist?
The one here in Nashville, or probably
You have one.
Yeah,
therapist? Okay.
Do you
I mean,
do you crack jokes in therapy?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Does she laugh at your jokes in therapy?
Sometimes. And then I'll go home and rewrite the joke and try it again the next week. She doesn't know that I don't need therapy. I just need someone to laugh at my jokes. Yeah, I'm going through the whole upcoming comedy show with her at this point. Oh, no. No, she's wonderful. She's young. My last therapist was a little bit older. She helped me through the pandemic when I guess the next step to say is I don't have a relationship with my mom going on 6 years. I haven't had a relationship with her. My dad and I's relationship has gotten a lot better through a lot of honest and open conversations. And just, I also think he just now is like, this may be wrong for me to say, but he's like, I can't change her. I'm not going to be able to change her. I wish maybe things were different. As in, like, I wish her life could have been easier for her.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it's, I'm sure there's been conversations about me in rooms that I've left that have been like, I just wish she wasn't gay. Like, we could really, like, whatever. But as far as, like in a business setting, but I don't feel like it's
business. Oh, sorry.
well, I'm saying, like, maybe somebody could have said we could really, market her, but if she wasn't gay or whatever.
Oh.
But I'm saying nobody's ever made that conversation or that comment to my face, and I don't feel, and I just don't feel like it's hurt me in any way. One thing that my mom would always say is, if you're gay, your life's going to be really hard on you. You're not going to get a great job. You're not going to be able to make as much money. You're not going to be able to feel as fulfilled. Life's going to be really heavy and shameful for you. So those were all limiting beliefs that I had to really break. Yeah. But one thing that I've really tried to be very aware of is for a long time, I lived in this identity of poor, pitiful me. Mm-hmm. I lived in, early on, why did God make me like this? Yeah. Why am I different? Why couldn't I just been attracted to a man? Why did I have to be like this? And so, and my career wasn't blossoming. My relationships were failing constantly with the women that I was dating. Mm. I was just so ridden with shame and guilt. And so I've had to do a lot of like self-help of making sure that I rid myself of this victimhood mentality and not placing blame on my mom, even though some days I really want to. I wish nothing more than one day my mom can find that empathy, can find that understanding. Mm-hmm. But I also, and this may sound really weird, but I think hope can be really dangerous sometimes. I had hope for so long while I was disconnecting from my mom that she would love and accept me. Mm-hmm. And then finally one day I just decided, and I know this sounds odd, but I just decided to give up hope on it. And once I gave up hope that she wasn't going to change, and I just left the ball in her court and decided, if she ever does change, I'm not going to harbor resentment. I will have my guard up. I'm not just going to, be like this open portal, but
how does it feel to say instead of giving up hope, I hear acceptance? Like you accepted that's just where she was. Like she can't accept something about you, but that doesn't say anything about you.
Right. I think I had to use the word hope in that time because I had so many family members that were saying, just meet her where she's at, like, or she's gonna change. I promise you one day she's gonna change. And so then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna actually stop thinking through that lens. If she changes, she changes. If she doesn't, I'm still gonna go on and prosper and become the person that I want to become.
Let's go.
And I'm not gonna live in this state of victimhood anymore. God put me on this planet to do something magical with my life, and I'm going to show people that your sexuality is such a small part of who someone is, and that it doesn't have to overtake and become who you are. It can just live within you.
Yeah.
And I just want people, when they see, you know, my relationship with my wife, I want them to see us as a married couple, and without always having to be like, that's a beautiful gay couple, you know, or man, that's a great looking lesbian couple. Like, you know,
Which y'all are.
Well, thank you. But I just want people to be like, it's just a happy couple.
Yes.
And just leave it at that.
Just
you know?
two beautiful humans.
Yeah. And I do think now that, like, my life, and I'm following my dreams and I'm following my passions and I'm living in who Danae really is, and it hasn't hindered me at all. I do think that it's helping other people that are younger that have been told those same lies. Like, yeah, you can be fucking successful. You can make great money. You can find a spouse that loves you. You can do all these things that the world, or maybe your grandmother or your mom or your dad has told you can't. They're lies, or as my dad would say, a figment of your imagination. I'm not silly, and I don't think that there's not hoops to jump through. But now I don't, like, obsess about those hoops. I just say, well, I'll let the chips fall where they may. I'm just going to be Danae, and at the end of the day, that's good enough for me.
I love that. Hell yeah.
Thank you.
You go. No, you go. I'll keep mine.
I'm just curious, there may not be just one thing you can point to, but what collectively were things that helped you move in the direction of being able to accept who you are and live in that way and break through those beliefs that were kind of wired in early?
I love this answer, but I also hate it for the people that don't have a spouse or don't have a very supportive partner. But my wife, my girlfriend at the time, there was just days where I just thought that I thought the world would be a lot better without me in it.
Yeah.
And she just she did such a beautiful job of loving me where I was, but showing me where I was meant to go. And there was days where I could only see an inch in front of me. I was just trying to get to that next moment. And she just did a beautiful, empathetic, unconditional, loving job of reminding me every single day where I was headed, if I could just learn to love myself a little bit more. And then I think hearing that constantly from my partner, it was very reassuring. But I also going to therapy. I got myself into therapy at the beginning of 2020, I believe January. And I went every week. I think I only missed 2 weeks that year. And honestly, that was a game changer, because I would go and I would learn these things, and then I would take them home to Mandy, and then we would go over them like homework.
Wow.
And so it was nice having a partner, but I also know a lot of people listening probably don't have that same luxury and privilege. But diving into I hate using the word self-help because there's a lot of people in that category that do things very odd and maybe unethically, but you know, pay $4,000 and we'll heal you. But really diving into self-help as well and staying in on a positive path, a positive frequency, you know, because when I would have a day where I was just saying when I have a day where I was overthinking it, diving into a chapter of a book and getting on a better frequency,
Were you there? So like your parents, you were doing that thing, you were like having OCD and like the in between, like where were you when you met Mandy and like what did that look like? I know you said your relationships like weren't going well.
Yeah.
But how did that like look different when you guys met each other? What was
So after therapy, that whole situation with Zoloft and all that, I didn't talk about my sexuality to my parents hardly at all through elementary school, middle school, high school. It was just I had made the decision in my mind. I was not going to be gay. I was not going to have any type of relationship with a woman. That's not who I am. I am a strong individual and I can suppress that and get through it. Yeah. So I think maybe I brought up my sexuality once more after that. It was just like a decision I made, you know? And then I started dating this guy in high school.
Your smile. I can't take
You're like, sweet man.
Poor
Sweet. He's a sweet man. He was not supposed to be my man. But he was a sweet boy. So I dated him for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thought if I, you know, dated him enough, it'd be like going to
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Type mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just knew in my gut, I was like, God, this must be like what it feels like to date your brother. Like, this just feels so unnatural. For 2 years? For 2 years? Girl, if I could suppress being a homosexual for like 10 years before that, 2 years of going fishing and hunting with my best friend, who occasionally asked me to suck his dick, and I'd be like, I got bad TBJ, or J, what is this called? TBJ? TMJ, what? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I got it bad. When I say my ABCs and suck dick, it locks up. Okay? So, I can't do it. I'm sorry. He was like, no, I'm telling you, you're really gonna like it. I'm like, are you gay? Jesse, I got this great doctor you should go to. You're gonna love him. He's such a great man. He'll only leave you with a lot of trauma. So I dated him.
You see why her therapist laughs? It's hilarious. Melanie's like, no.
It would be hard not to laugh if you were my client.
Right?
I would have to be like, we gotta cut it with the joke. We're not gonna get anywhere.
So Jesse calls me up one day.
Was that a boyfriend?
Oh, Kaylee was saying,
Yes.
just to say, everybody closer to the mic.
Oh, sorry, Kaylee.
Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank
Sorry,
you for that.
Kaylee's right over there.
So, JC calls me one day. It's a month before I'm headed to play college softball. We're out for summer break. Jesse rings me up. It's about 11 o'clock at night. He says, we need to have a talk. I thought, yes, he's breaking up with me. I was like, I knew this was coming. He goes, what? No, it's not bad. I was like, fuck. God damn it. So I was like, all right, where do you want to meet at? He was like, well, just meet me at the house. I was like, all right. So here I go. I'm heading over there. I'm like, what are we doing? We going, hunting or something? I was fired up about that. So we get in his truck and we drive out to this cow pasture, and telling you, man. Drive out to this cow pasture, Alabama. The crickets are chirping. The sun's out.
I'm nervous.
Hell, it was tempting not to suck his dick at that point. I was like, man, the setting is right. Throw a little strawberry wine on, and I'm in the mood. So we get out of his truck, and we go, and we're sitting on his tailgate. And we're just sitting there, and I'm like, well,
What are we
you
doing?
want to talk about? He said, well, this is no shit. Like, I hand to God. He says, I've been worried about you.
What?
I said, what? He goes, I've been worried about you today. I said, I have no idea what he's about to say next. I was like, what? He goes, well, you're leaving to go play softball. And there's a lot of lesbians on the team. And I was like, well, I don't know where you got that information, because there's only one in a league of their own. And so I was like, how does he know this?
Are you nervous at this point when
Yeah.
he brings it up?
Yeah, I was like, my hands are sweating. I was like, please do not.
Man, I feel,
Yeah, I was like, please do not ask me if I'm a lesbian. And he says, I go, well, not necessarily. I was like trying to backtrack and like get us out of the situation. I was like, not necessarily, Jesse. And he goes, no. He was like, there's a lot of lesbians on softball teams. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, I'm just afraid you're going to go off to the University of Alabama and find a girl you like better than me. And I didn't even know what to say at this point. I was just like, I was like, oh my God. Wow. Like I literally, I was like, I'm so ashamed. Like even my boyfriend knows I'm gay. Like, it's bad, I'm like,
that's wild. He never brought it up in 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 years of just pretty much just dry humping. That was all we did. We could start a fire in those mesh shorts. But so I just was like, man, like this is really upsetting me because he knows my secret now. And I denied it. Yeah. And anyways, we ended up breaking up that summer because he may have had a side fling with another girl, which also was a lesbian. I can swear to God. So I was like, maybe you're the one who needs to do some self-assessing. Okay? What? Yeah. So then I go to college, August. In October, I had my first girlfriend.
Oh my goodness.
It was my first ever girlfriend, and it was the most liberating, freeing experience. I was like, so this is what it feels like to like have your first kiss. Wow. I was like, it was mind blowing. And it was the biggest affirmation of like, no, you are never, like you never should have doubted yourself. Like this is who you are,
Yeah. What made you, like when you got to college, because you had denied it with him too. So like do you remember the day or when you were like, I'm just going to be myself. I'm going to, come out.
Yeah. It was after about 2 Jack and Cokes. So
okay.
It was my first time drinking too. So I didn't drink at all in high school. And this girl that I could tell, I just knew from the jump she was super gay. And I was like, I know she's gay. And at the time I was wearing a Kobe Bryant Lakers jersey, so I knew she knew I was gay. And so she kept flirting with me and like just, it was like the first time I had felt someone flirt with me, because I felt very like obligated to date this boy. He's a sweet man. I just want to keep saying that, sweet man. But I love, like, flirting was the first time it was actually fun, And I was like, oh my God, like, this is what my peers have been experiencing since like 7th grade.
Wow.
And it was liberating, obviously not the right person, but the affirmation of knowing that I was attracted to women, it was the weirdest feeling. God, I get still so shaky talking about all this because it's wrapped in trauma. You know what I mean? It's like, there was so much like nastiness happening behind the scenes and in my subconscious, but at the same time also affirming who I was for the first time in my life. Yeah. So I get really like, I have like, I've told Mandy this, but I get like body shakes internally that I don't think you can see maybe on the outside, but like my body, like literally when I talk about my sexuality in a very serious setting, which is why I make a lot of jokes.
I can tell.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, is it happening right now?
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. So can I ask a therapy question now? Mm-hmm. Thank you first for sharing. This is a lot of vulnerable stuff you're sharing. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm just sorry that was your experience. But it's gotten you to where you are now, which I think is awesome. But that little you that heard all those messages and wasn't validated, have you gotten to her yet?
I just did as surface and shallow as it sounds, I just did a post about this on Instagram a couple of days ago where I was acknowledging that 10-year-old girl because she was so vibrant and the funniest little girl and so creative and just wanted to try everything and was never worried about like the fear of failure. Yeah. She just wanted to create and make people laugh. And that side of me to make people laugh was never completely shut down, but I think I used it because I wanted people to like me. Yeah. Now my comedy and the ability to entertain is because I get so much joy from it now. So the reasoning behind it is so different. And so I used to feel like I needed to go into a room and make people laugh so that they would like me in hopes that if one day they found out my secret, it would overshadow that and maybe give me some wiggle room in that aspect. But no, I think about that little 10-year-old girl all the time. And I think about one day when I have my own little girl and she comes to me with anything. And, she says, Mom, I don't feel worthy enough or whatever it is. Like, I just want to make sure that she knows that there is not a single thought or action she could do in this world that could keep my abundant, unconditional love for her less, And so I know eventually when Mandy and I decide to have kids, it's going to be like the greatest healing journey on the planet. We've already done so much work within ourselves as individuals, but I know one day when we're blessed enough to have kids of our own, like I'm just going to want to pour into them and make sure that there's not a day that goes by that they ever question whether or not who they are just as a human being is worthy enough.
And you feel like you've gotten that for yourself now?
Now, and my relationship with my dad is incredible. So also getting to a place to where my sexuality is not even a question with him has been very healing for me. I know that a lot of people don't get that opportunity with their parents once they've turned their back on them, but it's been a beautiful thing with my dad. He and my stepmom both. They're just in a place where now they even introduce us to people like in our small southern town as, Danae and her wife. And I'm like, damn, Dad, that was bold. Like for real, that is a bold thing because he knows when he does that, it's going to make them uncomfortable.
But he knows it's going to make you feel so
yes.
validated.
And he doesn't care. My dad's just like, whatever. Like,
your dad sounds cool.
He's a great, funny man. He's a funny guy.
I love what you just said about going into a room and enjoying comedy. That just really hit for me. I hope I remember that because that's just wonderful.
Yeah. Well, and you have a God-given gift of it. Yeah. So just be in the moment, because you were put on this earth to do it. When you're flowing and in a state of flow, but when you're in a state of flow and you're not second guessing yourself, just know, this is what God put you on this earth to do. And the trauma in your life, Unfortunately, I do think a lot of funny people go through a lot of trauma.
Yes.
But you're going to be able to heal so many people and just be in that flow state without ever even like second guessing the fact whether or not like Amber was supposed to be doing this or not. Like, this is your shit.
Oh,
You know?
that's beautiful.
And people, you naturally can walk into a room just like you did over there at 8th and Roast with me. Like, you just walk into the room and just, boom, just lights up.
You are so wonderful. You are so wonderful. I love you too.
Your eyes, you went.
It's happening. It's happening.
You're like,
I want to ask about the OCD.
Yeah.
Do you still have OCD?
with very weird things that I'm ashamed to talk about, but we'll talk about them. Hygiene. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot stand, I'm just going to be judgmental for a minute. Okay. Cannot stand when people get off an airplane and then come sit on my couch. It's real bad. I shouldn't have told you guys this. But yeah, when people get off an airplane and then come sit on the couch, I literally have to go into another room and pretend like I'm doing something, because the whole time I would just be like, and during COVID, it was so bad. Mandy's mom would come and fly from California to Austin. And Mandy's mother, we love her and adore her. She's got a little hippie in her. She would take that mask off and just plop right on that couch. And I would just be like, and I get fixated on it. Mm-hmm. My thing is I get fixated on one particular topic for about 14 to 16 days.
Oh, yeah.
And I get so fixated on it that, like, honest to God, it'll consume my thoughts half my day. Mm-hmm. It'll be like, it'll just, like, as soon as I open, like, literally as soon as I open my eyes, if I'm fixated in that moment, like, for that stint of time, it'll, as soon as I open my eyes, my brain says, you have to think about this now. Mm-hmm. So it's more of the obsessive part. The compulsive part with, like, touching things doesn't bother me anymore. The only compulsive thing I have is this weird thing I do with my fingers when I'm watching movies and stuff, but it's like a soothing thing. But yeah, it's the obsessive thoughts that my brain just has to run its course for about 2 weeks, and then it leaves.
Relate.
Yeah. And then I'm on to the next thing to obsess about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you, go ahead, Melanie.
Well, what ends the cycle?
I think when I finally get to either some sort of comforting thought or some sort of resolution to where my brain can now say, okay, this is no longer as big of a problem as you need it to be. Let's now go find another one. So yeah, it's just like I think I'll live with that for the rest of my life. No? Okay. Oh, I'd love to dissect that.
Sorry, I'm just like,
Melanie's like, oh, child.
no.
Child, no.
No, that is not a permanent. That is a misunderstanding. I think
Okay,
of a
that's
lot of
good to
people
know.
that OCD is just something you have to figure out how to live with.
That's
That's what I think. For just from a trauma perspective, everything is a symptom, and when you can deal with what's underneath, that's a coping thing. Your brain's needing to do that. And OCD is a neurological like thing, but your belief is that something wrong with you. It's a misfiring in the nervous system in the brain. And so with brain spotting is what I use, but you can,
I've heard of that.
yeah. So you can, the thought of what fires together wires together. That's why OCD works so well and stays in a loop all the time. So
my
you
God.
work to fire the fear that it's based in with a more pleasurable thought. And so it's interesting when I said, what stops the loop? And you said, when my brain finds something, a resolution or something.
Yeah.
That, and more of a positive thing around it, that it loops. So
Yes.
when you fire those together, it's learning to do that versus.
I just need to
loop.
find it on day 1, not day 15. So
Well, you can process there's rooted stuff. You can process that
We
to
need
where
to-
it won't it won't be a thing anymore.
I may have to cheat on my therapist with you. Come here, Melanie.
Dude, seriously though, I'm not just saying this because I love her, but like this is her office, her therapy office, and it has become like an open mic. There are so many comedians here.
It's like, this is session 1.
Oh Lord! No, seriously, I feel weird saying this in front of the whole audience, but I would love to come see you because that was a beautiful way to explain it. I honestly, even through therapy, and I don't think that they've like come out and just said you learn to live with it, but yeah, that's what I thought. That's why I said it so candidly. I literally was like, well, I'll just learn to live with it, because most of the things I obsess about are things that, when I get obsessed about them, can turn into being productive. So I also think it like latches on to the fact that I'm very perfectionist, A-type, Enneagram 8, I think is what 3. Manny says 3 here. 3 and 8 maybe. But yeah, so
If I had to guess some of that jittery stuff in there, that's trauma.
oh well, it comes out every.
Well, just like when you said you're like the brain needed somewhere else to focus when this all started, it still was working that way.
Yeah.
It's just you've emptied out some of it, which is good, but like uproot it.
Yeah. I'd like to
And
just
let
get
it
rid
go.
of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'd say that's so goofy, but I would like to just get rid of it, because anytime I talk about it, it doesn't matter if I'm just talking about it with Mandy. Anytime I talk about it, my central nervous system is just like, and I'm like, the whole time I'm like pinching my palm, because I'm like, I really hope they can't, see.
If you can, when that happens, let it shake.
Yeah.
Shake your whole body, get up and move around, because that's what it's trying to do. Is that's how we like, if you see animals, like, I'm a dog person, but if you ever see them just shake and it goes all the way down, that's extra energy they shake off.
I love
They don't
that.
hold it in. And so, I mean, I will just like walk around shaking after like a tough session or something, because I pick up energy.
Totally.
Like, I can feel a ton of energy in this room.
Right.
And it's shake it out. Like, that's how animals do it, and it's how we do it too. But we hold it in. I'll work with clients sometimes, and they're just, you can tell they're just like trying to hold everything in. And I'm just like, let's jump around a little bit. Let's move around, like, let it out.
Yeah. It's so weird, because it never comes into play in like any other conversations. Obviously, it's the ones that are deep, like so deep rooted.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting to know. I'm serious about meeting you. Just don't tell anybody what time.
Okay. Deal.
Brain spotting is so good, man.
I keep hearing about it.
It's so good. Yeah.
Keep hearing about it. I've also had some brain injuries. So I love learning about the brain, just through softball. Nothing too crazy. Like, I didn't have a horse kick me or anything like that, but just through softball, yeah.
Just had a softball hit you.
Yes. Well, a girl's knee and then a girl's head hit my jaw.
Oh, God.
So technically, I really couldn't give a blowjob, because my jaw is fucked up. So it's slanted.
Which sounds fun, but it's not.
Yeah,
you don't want to slant it.
He wouldn't have
You don't want a slanted one.
You're like, we're halfway there.
Oh my god. Okay, so I'm sad about this, but we're coming to the end. But it's just the beginning. No,
Amen. Amen, brother.
Amen.
I want to say, I feel like I'm home a little bit, because I'm from Alabama too, and your accent just makes me feel at home.
Warm hug.
I love it.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, I love it.
For a long time, I tried to change it, but
Please don't.
it's like, well, I'm not going to make that joke, but it stays around for a long time. It just never leaves.
Like what? Like, say the jokes.
We don't want to single anybody out in here, because there's like a 1 in 8 chance somebody has it.
Yeah, got you.
I'm trying to be empathetic
I'm
to
with
people.
you now.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
We Oh, okay. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for having me on.
Yeah, thank you.
You're the best.
No, you guys are the best. I'm serious. Y'all have such a beautiful dynamic with one another. Very easy to talk to. I can tell that you guys off air genuinely adore each other.
Oh man, I cry when I think about her in my life for sure. In a good way.
She meant that as a compliment.
I want to ask, what is something that you do for you that's just like makes you in your good feels? I'm gonna find a way to say that. That's just a clear sentence one day.
Makes me in my good feels.
I don't know if you've ever said it in like just a straight up sentence. There's always something to it.
What do I like to do that puts me in my good feels? That's appropriate for an audience.
I feel like it's all just open range right now.
Okay. I have two things. One is kind of boring. It's on the healthy side, but we recently got a sauna, and I'm telling y'all, it has helped me so much. I will get in that thing. I will crank that bitch up to 130, and I will sit in there for 30 minutes, and I just feel so like relaxed when I get out of there. Especially if I like go in it with a lot of anxiety. That really helps. But the thing that I do for fun, I would say right now, this is weird, but it brings me a lot of joy. So Mandy recently got a horse. Didn't know that was in the cards for 2024. We love it though. We're so excited. But going to the barn and just like being around animals.
Yes.
I did not realize until like last year how much I love animals. Like there's goats at this farm. It's like an old McDonald had a farm type situation. There's everything. And I love just being in nature, leaving my phone in the truck. And when I get out, just watching my wife brush her horse and just like watch the simplest things, like just watching her brush her horse or tack him up or ride him or pet the goats or whatever. I just love getting back to the things that made me happy as a kid, you know, getting away from technology and just getting back outside in the sunshine and amongst nature. So
That's awesome.
I would say those two things right now are honestly my feel good things. So
Those are good.
thank you.
And then where can people find you?
Apparently in her office next week.
Right back here.
On Instagram, Danae, Danae, Hays, Hays. And then I'm on TikTok and same thing, Danae Hays. And I think those are my big ones. Oh, and we have a podcast as well.
It's like, oh yeah.
Are you allowed to talk about other people's podcasts? I felt like I was crossing a path there for a minute.
That's not allowed.
We're just gonna dub it over and say, "I'm fine. It's fine." No, of course, plug it, please.
It's called The Refined and Rowdy Show. And obviously I'm the refined one, so. But my wife and I, we host it together. It's every week, so.
Oh, beautiful.
Fun.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I love that.
Speaking of podcasts, thank you guys again so much.
Thank you so
you.
much. I'm so excited.
I have one thing I want to say
Oh yeah.
and I can't believe my brain remembers it because I forget stuff quick. But when you were talking about how helpful your partner has been for you, and this has come up in conversations recently and other ones I've been a part of that thought that we can only love ourselves, or we can only feel loved by others as much as the extent that we love ourselves. Who all's heard that saying, right? I think it's bullshit. And that is the perfect example of why. Because sometimes people can love us at certain times more than we can love ourselves. And that gives us permission, whether that is your family, your best friends, your partner, your podcast co-host. It's been, I feel like we need to talk about that more because we hear those things and we operate from them like they are truth and they're not.
I'm so glad you said that. The same thing with with where you want to go in life. You know, if you can only think as far as where you are in this current state, there's no ability for growth.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say is, one thing that I've really had to learn over these last 4 years is the ability to immerse yourself into the person that you want to become, and spending time in what that person is feeling while she's healed, feeling what she feels like to be loved, feeling what she feels like to love herself, and to feel unashamed and unapologetically her, being able to immerse yourself in that feeling. So I'm a huge advocate for visualization and manifestation, you know, and I know there's a lot of woo-woo stuff people think about with that, but
It's actually really scientific.
100%. And if you haven't read the book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, it was my first read when it came in that department, and it was life-changing for me. It's all about neurological pathways, and it is, I can't do it justice, but it really honed in on the power of manifestation and putting yourself mentally into where you want to go, not limiting yourself of where you are currently. So that's the last thing I'm going to say about that. I am done.
Thank you, Danae.
Thank you
you.
guys.
so much.
Thank y'all.
Y'all. Thanks for celebrating with us.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you guys.
Thank you. Yeah. Give it up for Danae Hays, you and I think now we're gonna do a mini little question sesh. No cues?
How did you guys meet?
So Melanie, I had this idea for a podcast because comedians, I'm always around comedians who are sad and depressed. I'm like, bro, we need to be in therapy, all of us. So I was like, why? I want to like have a co-host that's a trauma therapist. So I just Googled Trauma Therapist Nashville, and that is the title for business.
It wasn't because I was so awesome and good.
Well, it turns out you are, thank God, that you're legit.
But you talked to another therapist too.
Did I? Oh, I did talk to another therapist.
She's been a guest on here.
She was a guest. Yeah. But
It happens the way it's supposed to.
Yes.
But it's funny because I thought that she was asking me to be like on an episode of her podcast.
And I was like, so we're gonna meet every week, and she's like, oh.
I'm like, wait, so you want me to co-host this with you?
Yeah, dog.
And I was like, okay, sure, because it's a good idea. It's, laughter is, it's medicine, but it's also, as I've learned more and more with the comedians of learning it's a process. It's part of your skill and like what you do as a comedian.
Yeah.
And I truly think comedians that have not done their work aren't that funny. I might get a lot of flack for that, but
No.
I can tell watching because I go to more shows now, and then I see people, and you can just tell. You can tell Danae has worked through a lot of her stuff by the way she can talk about it.
Yeah.
Right? She can manage the stuff that comes up even while she's talking about it, and so you can
That's
just
so real.
yeah. And I know more of your stories, so I see you in your shows, and there's just some, if you've ever seen a comedian, you feel nervous for him. Like while you're watching them, you feel a little nervous, like, oh, I don't know if that's going to hit or not. Never felt like that watching her. But that's normally where, I don't know, that's how I pick it up and tell. They're kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a craft and important, but yeah.
So is what you do. Isn't she great? Doesn't she offer such great insight? She's wonderful.
Thanks. Yeah.
You, what? Oh, you got something? Yeah.
Oh.
What's up?
You want to hear it?
Yeah. No, don't tell me.
Allison asks what your favorite quirk is about each other.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a real good one.
Oh, I gotta think for a second.
Oh, I have it.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, there's so many. You're such a wonderful person.
I have a lot of quirks.
No. Wait a second. Okay. There's so many wonderful things about you. I think my favorite thing about you is you'll get this childlike excitement about you, about things that are, I don't want to say simple, but like your excitement, your childlike excitement can spark at, like, we'll just be having a conversation and be like, you have to see this plant. And it's just like, I'm like, oh yeah. And then
It becomes show and tell.
yeah. And
I'm a plant mom.
you're wonderful, and it's not in a bad way, but like you're not really concerned if people are going to take that journey with you. You're like, I'm
You're being so nice about this.
you'd be like, isn't it great? I'm like, yeah, and you're like, it's just so great. And I just love watching that. I love being around it because it's, I don't know anybody else in my life that I can think of right now that gets excited like that has that like childlike, like, look at this. And it's beautiful.
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, what came to mind for your hands? When you talk with your hands, and you do all this all the time. And then when we get excited about things, we go, And I love it. And your nails are always done so fabulous.
Thank you.
See?
That's
No,
a good one,
but
thank you.
I could say a bunch of sweet things, but if we kept it in quirks, I guess that's a quirk. So I like that.
Thank you.
And I love your dancing.
Oh. Stop. Keep going.
I would say, no, you have childlike energy too. I think that's why we get along.
Yes.
Because this isn't like a show we're putting on for y'all. This is what it's like, but in my house. Like our studio's in my house. And so we don't have the laughter tracks that y'all are providing, but it really is, we get to do this every week, and it's really, really fun.
It really is.
And
Great
I
fun.
know I wrote about this in a post a while back, but this came around at a time when I needed to like learn to laugh again, because I have a very serious job, but my dad had passed away, and then I met you, and her dad had passed away, and so we connected in that, and when you have the ability to go so deep in yourself and be that serious, deep person, but then the laughter, you're like a perfect mix of it. And so it helped bring that part of me back again. So thank you. It's been fun. I get to hang out with her every week.
That's how I feel about you.
I love you. That's funny. Okay.
Anything else?
This is Kaylee, our producer.
Yeah, give it up for Kaylee.
She keeps us on track. And we're embarrassing her.
Okay, what has been your favorite part of recording over the last year? Like your biggest takeaway, biggest growth moment, favorite moment?
Ask that again.
Over the last year, what's been your favorite moment or biggest aha, ta-da, whatever, like growth moment or just takeaway from spending this time together so many weeks in a row?
Yeah, I mean, tonight's pretty fucking sick. You know, tonight's pretty, I'm so glad that you guys are here and that we're like, this is really, I'm so grateful to you. This is so cool. You know, it doesn't feel like it's been a year. So this banging.
Yeah.
I'd say my favorite though is that every week, like I do comedy full time, right? So like before shows, I got the flutters, I'm thinking about my jokes, I'm like, okay, and there's this, and I gotta say this, and da-da-da. But every week with this, there's none of that. It's very much like, I'm just gonna go in, I'm gonna learn some stuff, I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna laugh, and I'm just gonna be able to relax and be loved and be able to love.
Yeah.
And it's like a little float session, you know? I'm just like,
That's what she may walk in and be like, we both have looks on our faces like, how's your day? I'm great. How are you? And it's like, do you go to the gym, you dread it, and then you feel really good after?
exactly.
And we will literally, when do we normally wrap? 8:30 at night? But multiple times she's left around midnight, like, because we just end up talking. So it's, the friendship would be the biggest thing taken away. Yeah.
That's good. I'm like, me. No, you're You're so right. You're so right.
Because we have deep conversations.
We do.
But we laugh too.
Yes.
It's fun. It's
It
hard to
is.
get a mix of those because a lot of times it's either someone can't really go deep, or sometimes I'm probably one of those friends that always talks about deep stuff.
Right.
So she's teaching me how to just be a mix, a good fun side. I'm learning my fun side, and you help with that.
I love you.
I love you too.
I want to say, this is, if anybody is looking for therapy, you found it here. This is Melanie's practice. It's so great. I go here, a lot of other people, and I'm just like, this has been some of the best therapy I've ever had. So,
And I'll clarify, I'm not Amber's therapist
yes.
or any other members that are people that have been on the podcast. I'm not their therapist, but I have a lovely group of therapists here that that kind of support the comedy community
Truly,
here,
truly.
which we're happy to do. So thank
Yeah.
y'all for being here.
Thank you guys so much. You're so wonderful.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, well,
We got another
yes.
one?
Do you want to tell them where to find you?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah. You are so good at what you're doing.
it's like it's her job.
Hello, my name is Amber Autry. You can find me on all platforms at Amber Autry Comedy. That's AMBERAUTRY Comedy. COMEDY. Yeah, please follow the podcast, and I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Grubhub, LinkedIn. Literally any app, I'm on it. Okay? And I also want to say, April 30th, I'm headlining Zany's
Mark your
Nashville.
calendars.
Yes. So please come out and see. Tickets are on sale now. So
We'll have a reunion.
Yeah.
Everybody come. We'll all hang out.
And then do you want to say where?
Oh yeah, I'm Melanie. Trauma Therapy Nashville. Only on a few platforms, but
Perfect.
I want to add one more thing. I hate being on camera, and so this was going to be a big deal for me to sit here. So I have to and that's when we first started recording.
Yep.
I opened up Instagram and see a reel with me on it, and about that died. It was like, Amber, can you not post? Don't include me in videos for a little bit. I need to work through this.
I'm like, you're half the podcast, but yeah, that's totally cool.
I worked through it.
You did.
And so that's been a helpful thing.
Now you're like, get me reels so I can post them on my.
Well, I was like,
Instagram.
can you cut some reels from what you video when we do this?
Yeah.
It's like if I look at the camera or I'm like, I freeze. So, yeah. Anyway, it's fun, and that's been good too.
Growth.
Yeah, thanks.
I love you.
Love you too.
Thank you guys
All
so
right,
much.
yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. Yay. Thank you for listening to I'm Fine, It's Fine podcast. My name is Amber Autry. I'm a comedian based here in Nashville and internationally touring. You can find me on all platforms at Amber Autry Comedy.
And I am Melanie Reese. I'm a trauma therapist here in Nashville. You can find me across all platforms at Trauma Therapy Nashville.
We really appreciate you listening so much. And if you want to give a little extra for free, make sure you're liking, subscribing, rating, reviewing, sharing with your friends, talking about it to literally everyone you see, because it helps so much. And we're so grateful for the extra effort.
And if you like what you're hearing and you want some bonus material, that includes interviews with other practitioners and all the juicy stuff that Amber and I talk about that doesn't go into the normal podcast. We'd love to have you subscribe. You can find the link in our bio, and $5 a month, you can do it.
Thank you.
Thanks.